The Season 11 patch notes have finally dropped for PUBG, and it's time today for us to take a look at just what it has to offer. Oh, he's on the roof. Oh, that was a pretty good frag. That's a pretty good frag. Hey everybody, my name's Ben, we are the Beard Guys, and today we're going to be taking a look through the patch notes for update 11.1, which is now available on the PUBG test servers for PC. PUBG will be releasing separate patch notes for the console version probably next week sometime, and if we do get it on the test server, we will see it next week for console. And the go live date for console is going to be the 8th of April. The update for PC is due to go live on April the 1st. The patch notes for PC and console are usually pretty much the same, but there are sometimes a few little differences, so it is worth keeping that in mind. I'll put the link to the patch notes in the video description below, so if you want to just go and read them yourself, go and do that, and we're just going to run through all the details that are in them today and offer my thoughts on what kind of an update Season 11 looks like it's going to be. So a lot of people were maybe expecting to see a new map or a map remaster for Season 11 on PUBG, and we've not really got that. What we have got in terms of map is the return of Paramo. Paramo has been brought back into rotation to replace Karakin. Now, they do say at one stage in the patch notes, let me just find it, in the section map service plans, they talk about how they realize that the consensus is in favor of large maps for PUBG, which is true and good to be acknowledged. And they then go on to say that this is their motivation for choosing to not add Paramo in as an additional map, but to replace an existing map. So they say they want to keep Erangel and Miramar in rotation permanently, and then the other three maps will be cycled in and out depending on what they want to run. Now, this is good because it means we don't lose Erangel or Miramar, but it doesn't actually increase the odds of you getting those maps any more than we did in Season 10. So there aren't really any map rotation changes being made in any positive way that actually would allow you to play the maps you want to play anymore. Unless, of course, that map's Paramo, because you couldn't play that more. So Paramo has returned. They've made some small tweaks to it. Terrain has been tweaked somewhat. They've increased item spawn rates in the secret room and the care package. And it is available in custom games as well. You can play Paramo custom games. You can actually still play Karakin custom games, or at least on the test server you can. Haven, however, has not been added to custom lobbies. So that's the big map news, is that Paramo is coming back in to replace Karakin, and I guess we might see them cycle out Paramo, Sanhok or Vikendi in favor of Haven or Karakin, and just rotating these different maps throughout the course of the coming seasons. Some of the other changes they've made are kind of interesting. I wouldn't say it's a particularly content-rich update. The only real new addition, I would say, in terms of content in the update is a evacuation plane drop kind of thing. It's a balloon that you can basically pick up this giant bag and you deploy it, and you attach yourself to a big balloon. A plane flies past, picks you up, flies you and your squad through the air to the center of the zone, and you can then parachute down. It sounds kind of interesting and wacky. I'm sure it's going to be fun. It's going to allow opportunities to try and shoot people out of the air mid-game, to try and run them over with a glider, to maybe land yourself on top of terrain or a building where you're not normally going to be able to land. So it certainly sounds fun and wacky, cool little new feature. That really is the only new content in game in my mind in the entire update, which is disappointing from my perspective. The other stuff in the update is more tweaks. There's some UI changes and stuff like that. There's obviously Paramo coming back in, but that's old content being brought back. It's not new content. It may well have had some tweaks made to it, but it's certainly not new content. They've made some changes to the ranked rewards. I won't go into too much detail on them. They haven't really gone over if there's going to be any changes to ranked next season. For console, maybe there will, but that'll be in the console patch notes separately. They do mention that they've increased the spawn rates for loot in ranked mode by 30 to 40%, so that's going to be pretty significant and is a nice change to see. It doesn't give any indication that maps are changing, so I assume we're still going to see Sanhok in ranked rotation, which I know some people will be disappointed by. Personally, I haven't been playing ranked for a while because it's only been TPP on console and it's got kind of boring, so maybe we might see changes to that in the console patch notes separately. The other significant change of note in the patch notes is the weapon rebalancing. I was hoping we would see some, and I know a lot of people were, and some of the changes are quite welcome. They're maybe not as drastic or as widespread as I think some may have hoped, but the approach they've taken seems to be positive. We see an increase in damage to the Mini, to the VSS, and to the Scar, which is great. I think the Mini was fairly decent anyway, but an increase in damage is absolutely welcome. Plus 2 damage for the VSS sounds very powerful to me, so we'll see how that balances out longer term. And plus damage to the Scar might just make that gun a little bit more viable. It doesn't really get used very much these days, in comp particularly. So maybe having that increase in damage might make the Scar slightly more significant. The SLR and the barrel, unsurprisingly, are the victim of nerfs. The SLR has had nerfs to its recoil, as has the barrel, and we'll just have to wait and see how that pans out. The barrel had already had 2 rounds of nerfs made and was still the most popular gun by a long way to be used in comp situations. So maybe this will change that. I'm not sure. Maybe on PC it might. On console, where the recoil is already less, these changes are less significant, so it's going to be interesting to see if it makes much difference. Last time they nerfed the recoil on the barrel, it was still pretty easy to control for most experienced players, so I'll wait and see quite how that works. I'd love for it to balance things out. I'd love to see the ARs be a little bit more even. They don't have to be exactly even, but it's nice to see guns have strengths and weaknesses in the games and be great for different situations rather than just the barrel being awesome for everything. Outside of that, there's not really much that grabs my eye from the patch notes. There's changes to the PUBG ID. There's changes to the sort of badges you can get in ranks that you can have on your profile if you like having those. And there's some other various UI tweaks. There's kill feed updates. They're going to change how that looks slightly. I think it's going to be image only rather than having the text version in there. And there's also now a match log where you can look at your kills and stuff over previous games. It then goes on to say there's some performance tweaks, some quality of life improvements, and of course a whole new raft of skins that you can buy for your hard-earned G-coins in the store. There is a list of bug fixes down at the bottom. Keep in mind these are kind of specifically for PC. There might be different ones for the console version of the game, but these are the bug fixes going out with Season 11. So those are the patch notes for Season 11 for PUBG PC anyway, and I don't want to sit here just moaning. To give my summary of it, I'll certainly say that this was a disappointing update by the sounds of it. I was expecting some more content, I think, given that Season 10 was longer than the lifespan of the sun. I expected maybe that they might have got some more stuff done in the last 3 months that we've been playing Season 10. So certainly disappointing to see that the only real new content is a balloon that pulls your players across the map. But there are some welcome tweaks in there, like the gun balancing. It just would have been nice to also see some new content to get excited about. So it is what it is. That's what we're going to get for Season 11. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about it. You know, maybe I'm just being a negative Nancy. And maybe it's a really great update. I'd be interested to hear the community feedback on that. So leave a comment down below. If you want to talk about it live, jump over to our live stream on twitch.tv/thebeardguys and ask me about it there. And if you enjoyed the video, then please think about subscribing to the channel and keeping up to date with everything PUBG over on The Beard Guys. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Ben. We are The Beard Guys, and I'll see you next time.